So we're doing two videos today. Later on we're going to do a Trader Joe's run. We're going to try 3 new things that I've never tried from Trader Joe's before, but in this first video of the day I wanted to talk about depression and how life on any given day can trigger it. How anxiety can work its way into it. At the end of my last video, I played a little memorial and made note of the fact that my dog Mimi passed away 3 days after the filming of the video. It was the New Music Wonders video. In case you haven't watched it yet, you want to go back and see the memorial. It hit me really hard. She was 14. She'd been dealing with a hole in her heart for quite a while, pretty much her entire adult life, and it just got so bad that between the enlargement of the heart and the fluid leaking into her body cavity, into her lungs and everything else, it was pressing up against the trachea and she just couldn't get any breaths in. Her last day she was averaging about 130 breaths per minute. Now, losing a pet is never easy. It's the second one that I've lost in the last 5 years. The first one was Ribby, who at the end of this video I will post a video of Ribby and I'll post a video of Mimi, giving kind of a memorial to both, or I might post a video of both of them because I have those as well, and and memorialize both of them. I'm not going to do that in every single video, but I did do it in the last one, and we'll probably do it in this one. Losing Ribby was tough, even though he lived to be 16. Mimi lived to be 14. Ribby I raised from a puppy. Mimi came into my life when she was 2. Almost 2. And what makes losing Mimi especially tough is she was Caitlin's dog, my late wife. And other than my in-laws, she's really the last tie back to Caitlin that I have here. That was real and alive and tangible. So it's been about a week now, and I have to say it's weird coming home. It's weird coming home every day and not having the dog there waiting to give me kisses, excited that I'm home. It's weird sitting on the couch at night and not hearing the jingle of her collar, which I kind of made fun of in the last video, and now I'd give anything to hear it again. It's weird waking up every morning and the first thing that I'm not thinking about now is I gotta take Mimi out before I even go to the bathroom so I don't risk an accident in the house. For the last 20 years, I've pretty much had a dog every single day. And here we are 20 years later, and for the last week, no dog. And it's depressing. The last few days, knowing that I was getting ready to walk through the door and that there wouldn't be a dog there waiting on me kind of kicked in my anxiety a little bit. Not a lot, a little bit. The depression has been far worse because I miss Mimi. So I'm dealing with that on a daily basis, and I'm trying everything I can to stay busy. Going to visit friends, going shopping, which is why we're doing the Trader Joe's haul today, because I could spend about a half an hour walking through Trader Joe's, and then I can come home and spend a couple hours working on the video. And then after I shoot both of these videos today, then I've got time to work on editing. It's never easy losing somebody, and it's not easy losing a pet. I used to be one of those people that were like, it's just a dog. But they're really not. They really do become a part of your family. They become a part of your everyday life, and losing one is not easy. It's not easy at all. And I'm kind of struggling this week. Mostly because I did everything I could over the last couple of years to make Mimi's life as comfortable and as easy as possible. As her heart got worse and we added medications to keep her alive, she couldn't take walks anymore. I really couldn't play with her anymore. We couldn't play fetch anymore. The exertion would just tire her out and send her into a coughing fit, trying to catch her breath. But I tried everything I could to make it an easy last couple years as I possibly could. And I did it for her, and I did it for Caitlin, I did it for me. When we put her on these heart meds 2 years ago, almost 2 years ago to the day, the vet told me that I'd be lucky if I got a month, and I might get 6 months, and that would be extremely lucky. And I ended up getting 2 years, so I have to say I feel blessed that I got the extra time with her. But the depression and the anxiety comes from what now? So now I sit and I wonder, is the only reason that my in-laws keep me in their life is because of Caitlin's dog? Because they want to be a part of Mimi's life. They want to be part of updates on her health. I always have to play devil's advocate and put myself in the shoes of my in-laws. My wife left this world by her own 2 hands. It would be really easy to blame the spouse. What could I have done differently? What actions could I have taken that might have kept their daughter here? Do they blame me? Should they blame me? These are all questions I'd be asking myself if it was my child that had taken their own life. I mean, it would be easier to ask those questions than for them never to occur to you. I mean, I have to believe that my in-laws know that I love their daughter tremendously. And they compliment all the time the great care that I've taken with Caitlin's dog and keeping her healthy and alive through these last couple of years. I have to say, Mimi's a dog that never got paddled, never got spanked, never got really disciplined in any single way. I'm a better pet owner than that. And in honor of Caitlin, I am a better pet dad than that. Which is not a term that I ever used when I had Ribby, which is spelled RBI, by the way, for runs batted in baseball. Caitlin named Mimi for a local news celebrity here named Mimi Pierce. So I never really considered myself a pet dad to Ribby. When people would say, hey, where's your daddy? I'd always say, pet owner. I'm a pet owner. I'm the human, he's the dog. But I really couldn't do that with Mimi. Caitlin would have never forgiven me. So for the last 8 years, I've adjusted to be considered Mimi's pet dad. And yes, when I talk to Mimi, I have said, I know Daddy's upset too, or I know Daddy's sorry too. And if my friends heard me say that, they'd make fun of me after the 16 years that I had with Ribby. So my anxiety also stems from the fact that now my in-laws are the real tie back I have to Caitlin. And I can't even imagine what it would be like if I didn't have them in my life, because they're the best in-laws in the world. And I love them dearly. And there's nothing I wouldn't do for them. And there's not anything I haven't done for them if they've asked. And I've done a lot that they haven't even asked for. And part of that is because I do love them dearly, and part of that is because Caitlin is not here to do stuff for them, and I want to make sure that there's somebody to take that place. Even though they probably wouldn't want that, Caitlin would. So now I have to deal with that. And every single day that I wake up, I'm going to be wondering, am I going to hear from my in-laws today, or have I heard from them the last time? And I hope it's not. And it's depressing because, you know, as I said in a previous video, I lost so many friends and family members over their preconceived thoughts of taking your own life and what happens to those people when they leave this world. And friends and family that just couldn't deal with the depression that I went through. They couldn't deal with the sorrow, and that's okay. I mean, I handled it the best way I could, and I got through it, am getting through it the best way that I can. I'll never ever tell anybody how long it takes to get through grief. Not ever. Because it's got to be different for every single person. The circumstances, the level of love, the part they play in your everyday life, all has to take into account of how each person is going to handle grief differently. I mean, Caitlin was my everyday. She was my every single day. I mean, she was the first thing I saw in the morning. She was the last thing I saw at night. She was the person I texted to or talked to all throughout the day. I mean, she was the biggest part of my life, and when she left, it left a huge hole in my life and in my heart. And even though I've made the decision that I'm going to honor my vows and I'm never going to date or remarry, while that doesn't help get through the sorrow and grief, it's a decision that I stand behind 110%. Caitlin was my soulmate. She was the love of my life, and I don't know, I don't think I could ever replace her. I wouldn't want to replace her. But when everybody says, well, you deserve to move on, you deserve to be with somebody else. Okay, so let's talk about deserving to be with someone. Caitlin was my number one. I waited my entire adult life for her. I passed up relationship after relationship after relationship because I knew that person wasn't going to be my forever. That I didn't have the things in them that I needed to be able to commit to a lifetime relationship. And I always said I would know when that person came around because they would be my best friend. They would be the one that I'd immediately want to go to every time something good or something bad happened. And that was Caitlin. And I knew when I proposed, I knew with everything in my heart and every fiber of my being that she was the right one, that she was the one. And then she was gone, and the only thing I had to fill the voids was my in-laws, Ribby, and Mimi, and a couple of select friends that stuck around that I could confide in and talk to. Shout out Del, shout out Nancy. And then Ruby left, and it was just like one less thing in my life that I could count on every day. I mean, even though he lived to be 16 and he had a full life, I wanted more, I needed more. But then I had Mimi still, and then for the last week, no Mimi. And I gotta admit, it's tough going home. It's tough sitting there. I miss her a lot. And it's like there's nothing at home now for me to take care of. There's nothing at home for me to love. And that's depressing. It really is. So I don't know what the next stage of life is going to be, but I'm going to try to get through the depression every day, and I'm going to try and deal with the anxiety of what's going to happen with my in-laws and what it's like now coming home with nothing there. And it's weird. Like in the last video, I talked about the jingling and me being an attention hound trying to get my attention, and that's why you could hear the jingling of the collar. But as God is my witness, I miss that jingle. I mean, honestly, I miss that jingle enough that I could sit here and shed a tear about it. I'm actually shedding a tear about it. It's funny how your pets become such a huge part of your life, and how losing them can restart a depression. I mean, it's not like losing Caitlin. Nothing has ever been like that. Nothing has ever hit me that hard, but Caitlin was Mimi's dog. And mine. Well, she was Caitlin's first. I hope she knows how much I took care of her and how much I loved her. I hope she knows how much I miss her. Her and the dog. But the faith side of me knows that she's with Caitlin now, as is Ribby. And the three of them are up there somewhere, and the dogs are running circles around her. They're giving her lots of kisses, and that kind of sucks because I'm not there. So I really do believe the three of them are together and I'm here alone. And I'll be wondering every single day until I hear from my in-laws if the end of Mimi was the end of us. I mean, I definitely won't wait until I hear from my in-laws. I'll definitely reach out to them first because, like I said, I love them and I care about them dearly. And not just because of Caitlin, because of every way that they've helped me after losing Caitlin. I don't know where I would be if it wasn't for my in-laws, Judy and Wayne, just to say. They've really been blessings in my life and helped me get through some of the darkest times I've ever experienced in ways that I can never thank them for. That I can never do justice in the way that I thank them for. They're truly great people, and they're kind, and they're spiritual, and they have really looked out for me. And when I was in my darkest times and at my lowest of lows, they were there to try to help pull me out of it. And I'll never, ever stop being thankful for that. So things are going to happen in life, and your depression or your anxiety or whatever mental health issue that you're struggling from is going to rear its ugly head, and it's going to creep back into your everyday life. And I guess it really just boils down to what you're going to do about it. Me, I've tried to do every single thing I can over the past week to try and stay busy and keep my mind off of it. There's been a few nights where I've stayed out as late as I possibly could because I just didn't want to have to go home and sit on the couch and think about how alone I was. And I'm not sure what's going to happen. I know I'll be here for the next video, mainly because I still got to go to Trader Joe's and I've got some food to cook and a video to make. But I will be here video after video. And I will keep my promise that as long as at least one person watches my videos, I will continue to make them. Because it's not just about me. I really do make them for other people. For anybody that thinks they're alone and that nobody would understand what they're going through. You're not. I do. A lot of others do. So just know that you're not alone in your mental health issues. You never, ever will be alone. If you are struggling with mental health, depression, anxiety, or any other issue, pick up the phone and call somebody. Let them know. Pick one person that you can depend on. Or pick somebody that you don't even know if you can depend on and give them a chance. But tell them how you're feeling. Give them the chance to be there for you. It helps just to have somebody to talk to. If they don't pick up the phone and they don't answer your call, so what? Go knock on their door. I'm sure they'll be there. I hope they'll be there. They damn well should be there. Now for all you people that are not suffering with mental health, if you know somebody who is, please reach out to them. Pick up the phone and give them a call. See how they're doing. If they don't answer the phone, go knock on their door. When they answer it, ask them, how are you? How are you doing? Is there anything I can do to help? I cannot tell you how important those words are. Is there anything I can do to help? Because a lot of times, just having somebody to listen to us, to listen to me, to listen to them, is everything in the world. So be there for them. And maybe together, all of us can save one life. Thanks a lot for listening to my video. I will see you on the next one. And I guess I'm going to head to Trader Joe's and start getting ready for that one. Thanks again for visiting. I'll see everybody later.